Lewis in the Middle.
Lewis in the Middle.
That's what we're talking about. Lewis in the Middle.
Which episode?
Did I fucking watch this one?
Oh.
I watched it, but then I crammed on
So I could tell you a little bit about this episode.
Refresh us.
I did my homework on this one. I was not in this one at all. But again, it's another one of those it's one of those episodes where you get a chance to meet all of the supporting cast that I have become so fond of and love so much. AJ Troth is in this one a lot. Margot Harshman is in this a lot.
Oh, I know this one. I've seen this one. Yeah.
So you get to see a lot of them doing that school thing,
Yep.
which is a lot of fun. And so Shia is doing his shticks. Lewis is doing his little comedy shticks at school, but he's not a popular kid.
Right.
He's the goofball. And the he pops the popular dude in the face, some guy who's an actor and done a bunch of commercials, that Hollywood type, who's the
He saves his life.
yeah, and there's a moment where that guy like starts choking on something, and Shia goes into like rescue mode and gives this guy the Heimlich maneuver and saves his life, and then he becomes like this guy's best friend. The problem is he's too funny. He's too funny. The guy doesn't like that he's actually a funny guy, and then I don't watch the rest of it. That's all I watched.
No, and then the other storyline with Ren is that.
Oh, you were in this one?
Yeah. Come on now. I was trying to be hall monitor or something. Oh no, I was trying to do some sort of policy.
It was the
change.
food thing.
And Larry Beale, Ty Hodges is in it, and he's amazing because he is okay. I just want to throw this out there.
He really went after you on this one. He is busting your balls the whole time.
In the end, he actually, because I quit because of his harassment. He's legitimately harassing her. He stuffs her ballot box full of like negative comments about her being this like.
He stuffed her what?
Her ballot, the box. He stuffed her box. He stuffed it full of things that he wanted her to do to him.
Inappropriate.
Yes, absolutely. The character was harassing Ren, and then she basically quit the position.
Yeah.
And then when he hears about that, he doesn't get the satisfaction that he thought he would. And so what I really like about the dynamic between Ren and Larry Beale is that they're worthy adversaries of each other. Although like Ren pretty much, with the exception of maybe one or two times in this entire show, she always goes high. She never goes low. And there's been very few times when she's like defeated. This is like one of the few times I think I've ever seen her just step down from something. But I like that this episode, at least my storyline, humanizes Larry Beale because Ty's very underutilized in this series. I feel like they could have had a relationship.
I feel like he really could have had more of an arc too, because they just show him as like the villain. Yeah,
he was sort of written off, and that was ridiculous.
But I think that's part of why that change happened, though, between the writers. To be honest, like
what episode is this? It's 6.
Yeah.
So this is the last episode of the old hat, the old guard.
Okay, but it makes sense because there's a very specific style about it that feels very after school special to me.
Yeah, it's very soft. It almost feels like there's Vaseline on the lens.
It has the
you know what I'm saying? Like very
music.
like just like sort of like flowy and gooey and just like slow.
Wow, what the hell are we talking about?
We're talking about the fact that like
I didn't see any Vaseline on the lens or like.
No,
it didn't
I'll show
feel
you.
gooey. No, it's okay. But I mean, it's just like in terms of I'm just playing.
No,
with
I know,
you.
but like the cafeteria scenes that I'm in. You're right. It looks.
The comedy's very punched up.
It's just
and
slow.
it has those moments where the music swells and you get that
after school special. It's just very like
the music is telling you how to feel.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that like Larry Beale, he's so like.
He was so punched up.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
nothing supported it around
these big
him.
laughs and almost kind of like knee slap moments. Like that kind of weird.
Well, he matched
over
like
the top
Shia's energy. He matched that was the energy of the show, right? Which it ended up becoming with our new writers. But what they were trying to do, I think, too much was split the show in half, where it was like, okay, Ren's having her emotional moments, and he's just going to be up to some mischief.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a unified tone. That's what I think.
I just didn't feel like it. I think that what happened afterward, and yes, obviously, like Shia has that kind of like broad comedy, but that's number one, Shia.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have everyone else play that because then it doesn't work, right?
No way.
That's the one thing that he gets to do, and so I think that's part of the problem is that it felt like it was becoming almost too much about these other characters in a weird way, which is why I think that the the writing team might have shifted and changed is it was kind of losing its core.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it was
agree.
losing its core. It was a little too punched up, and like you said, he was like this villain type that. Later on, I don't think he was still the nemesis.
But we never really saw him, even in the later episodes. I think.
Yeah, he kind of got written off.
I can't wait for him to come in here.
Yeah, he's really sweet. I love him.
You know, you saw that human side of Larry.
You do see, factually speaking, you see his human side at the end of this, where he feels bad that she quit and stepped down. But on the other side of this, we have Lewis having his whole story, which I thought was really good. It was a pretty well-written storyline where he's got this famous guy because his friends don't want to hear him do his like same jokes, right?
And this guy's like willing to listen and thinks he's funny
for a minute. He's like idolizing this guy.
Yeah, it was a hot minute.
Yeah,
that was it. And then he was getting too much attention.
And then we see Eric Youngman for one of the first times.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Eric was really friendly with a lot of us, including Lauren, and he was in a movie called Not Another Teen Movie. And he was doing a lot of really cool stuff after Even Stevens, and we were all really rooting for him. He's still friends with us on Facebook, I think, and great guy, talented guy.
You gotta invite
interesting
him
look again. Like when you were talking about like diversity,
those types.
He was totally interesting looking. To
you
me.
Gotta invite him to one of these reunions next time because I've never met the guy, and I was on a show with him.
What show were you on with him?
Even Stevens.
Oh,
yeah, I think I mean. I remember a lot of the episodes.
Were you on that show?
What?
Yeah, I know.
Who are you?
I know. Get out of here, Beans. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, Eric's a cool guy. I just haven't talked to him in a million years.
Yeah.
But he was a really great, I guess, fool, but like not. He was more like a neurotic fool. Like if we were to say like Donnie was this like affable, lovable, sort of just a little bit not knowing that the joke was happening kind of thing, but he was never the punchline. This guy was just this character that was introduced and like it was just he was ridiculous. He was ridiculous.
But the way this one was shot, and I'm sure that it's like this in other episodes as well, but it was the first time I really felt like this was more of a in front of a live audience. Oh. That's what it felt like. Okay. Like it's like that kind of comedy where you're playing to the crowd, right? To get the laughs. And it didn't feel like
I could see that.
You know, like the single camera live action comedy that it actually really became known for, and that's what made it so unique. But it was like this kind of like big slapsticky.
You know, maybe they were getting notes. Maybe they were trying to punch it up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because they were struggling with.
That actually makes a lot of sense,
right?
Because, you know, doing like Frasier, like that's the Raven was in front of an audience too.
Big time.
Like Married with Children was.
You have to do that.
Yeah, it's that you got to play it in front of.
Yeah,
the audience,
I mean it's almost like theater, right? Like you can't be so subtle. The comedy can't be as subtle. It's got to be big and broad to get the audience reaction, right? And that's how they were still playing it, even though it was a single camera.
Which you mean in this particular episode?
I'm saying I felt it.
You felt
more
it more
in this episode. Yeah, like I feel like that should have been.
Well, I find that really interesting because we shut down after this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
I didn't know this. You guys shut down.
This was our last.
This is when we took a unexpected
hiatus.
hiatus.
No, I mean pretty much our show got pulled into development again. It got pulled back, even though it had already been like out.
It's something like that. A version like that.
Damn. So y'all almost got canceled before I came
on.
Slow
down.
Oh, okay.
Slow down. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Though
You're not the only one who gets canceled.
So I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it. I'm trying to think about where else to go with this particular episode because you weren't in it. It doesn't help that either one of you aren't in this episode.
This is what happens when you don't put me in a show. You got nothing to say about it.
See, many years later, we kick ourselves.
Beans.
Trying to see if I could pull up.
I mean,
Steven, I don't know. Dude, you know how natural it feels to just call you
Beans?
Beans?
I don't think anyone's ever called me by my real name on the show, ever.
How does that feel?
I mean, honestly, I don't have too weird feelings about it because it's all I know. Yeah. I'm sure this is probably weird as fuck to everybody else, but to me, it's all I know. So that's the only thing I got to base it on.
Like it's a little different for you than I think it is for me. Like if people are like, if they ever realize that, usually they don't remember what my name was, the character name. Like, well, you're the brother, you're some of the brother guy, right? Yeah. If they know the name, they're like, oh, you're Donnie, right? I'm like, well, mean, kind of. I mean, that's what I was called that. Yeah, at some point in time in my life, but that's not really who I am.
The artist formerly known as.
I don't live in that. Your character's a little different. Your character Beans kind of transcended the show and had. I don't know, like Beans became a real life thing.
Cult thing.
Yeah, it became a real life thing.
I told you, there was drinking. There was like drinking.
I feel like Beans was an everyman. Everybody really identified with Beans because I feel like that's something not unique.
You mean every boy?
No,
I don't know if it's every man.
Every person. I feel like every person really has that deep need to be needed. And that's what Beans was. I feel like that's why. That was a secret I gave me, at least, as an actor. It's like, well, Beans needs to be needed, and that's why he's always there. Obviously, you never know what's going on. There's, you give yourself certain actor things, certain secrets, going into there to kind of play into it. But that was mine, was Beans really wants that, to physicalize a gesture, it would be that pat on the head.
Yeah.
When I Google you,
pat on the head.
Have you ever Googled yourself?
Oh God.
Oh no.
Do you Google yourself?
No, but I do have Google alerts set up in case anything ever
pops in there.
Yeah, and I found out that I share a name with a New York senator who got in some trouble. So that's about all I know. Another Nick Spano out there.
HuffPost says Beans from Even Stevens thinks it's weird people still recognize him.
Oh yeah, that was. I don't remember the leading question to that. It was probably like, well, yeah, people, you don't look anything like a 100-pound 9-year-old. It's like, well, yeah, I guess that's weird.
Wait, how much did you weigh?
Yeah, like 100 pounds.
You were 100 pounds at 9?
Yeah, I literally weigh less now than I do when I was 9.
Wow.
Well, you're taller.
You're
definitely taller.
But he's skinny, for sure.
But you were like this.
I was probably about maybe half a foot shorter back then.
Yeah. Okay.
Not that much.
Oh, you know what? I actually have something from our final episode.
Oh no.
That Beans gave. I'm sorry.
Aww.
Gosh darn it.
Where is it?
Where is it? I'll be right back.
Oh no.
Where is it?
I know what it is too.
You almost got emotional when we were showing you this the other day.
Yeah, I gave one to everybody.
Don't get him. Are you gonna? You know what? Have your feelings.
Yeah.
My hand will be here.
Okay.
Oh, now he's taking it. Okay, we're getting to this
now. Well,
right.
yeah,
I'm not going to stop being nurturing. If anything, I'm going to get way more nurturing.
So I actually have something here from Steven that he gave us at the end of the series, which was kind of cute. And, it's ironic that we are here now,
20 years later.
So
you have to tell them what it is.
I understand that.
Oh. Podcast.
So this is so I have this little silver star keychain that says on it, Nick, castmates once, friends forever. Love, Steven, aka Beans. And this dude was like 9 years old, 10 years old. How old were you when he gave this to us?
Yeah, about
handed out these little keychains to all the castmates.
I was 12 because 12. I was 13 when I shot this.
And I've had this thing in my drawer ever since. It's in my underwear drawer.
Is it really?
Who's it? Oh, well, thank you, Nick.
The things it's seen. That does seem.
Keeping it close to your heart.
Wait, can I see it? Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Since we're talking about this. Do you remember making this?
No, I just.
So did one of your parents made this?
Yeah, I remember our parents going out, probably to some mall out here to get them all made.
Okay, so your mom or dad made this, and they financed this, which has got to be at least a couple $100 because you got them for everybody, or just the main principal?
The principal cast.
Yeah. Okay, but it's still a lot of money. Yeah. And then my question to you is, why are you so emotional when you handed this to him, or he brought this?
Well, because even though it was only 3 years of my life, it's a huge part of my life. The show is obviously a huge part. I get recognized from it a lot, and where probably most people know me from, and yeah, it's been a huge part of my life. So
I think that's probably one of the problems too, and I don't mean this about you specifically, but for any young person that gets into the business. If you have any ounce of celebrity or fame that comes from it, it's kind of hard to, like, a good example, and I forget the guy's name. I'm going to screw this all up. But the guy who was on, you yawning as I'm talking. the actor that was on maybe the Cosby Show, I forget his name. He was working at a
I know who you're talking
Trader
about.
Joe's.
Oh, is he? He's a shorter guy too.
Who knows?
Okay.
I can't remember, but I know he was working at a Trader Joe's, and so he was like bagging stuff at a Trader Joe's. And first of all,
are you talking about Emmanuel Lewis? Is that who you're talking about?
No.
Okay.
No. He was like the brother on the Cosby Show.
Okay.
I think that's who it was. He's working at Trader Joe's, which shout out to Trader Joe's.
TJ's.
My sister works at TJ's, and one of the things about TJ's is they're great to their employees.
Yeah,
they have great benefits. Like they're really, it's a great company to work for. So I completely understand why this guy would take that job there, because there is some job security and benefits that comes with it. And somebody like posted a little trolley, post about him and making fun of him working at a Trader Joe's. And it's like, that's the hard thing about this business, is that once you've worked as an actor and you've been on television, everyone assumes that you're somehow are made for life, and that you should be loaded, and that you should never have to work a normal job again.
Well, also that you owe them an explanation. Like if somebody approaches you, and I know that in terms of Steven, you were highlighted online as working as an elf in the mall.
Yeah, but that's just it. I don't have any qualms about stuff like that.
Why would you?
Well, it's minimum wage, sure. You're a little bit buff, but it's a way to for me personally. Christmas was a huge thing in my family, and I don't have any kids myself. So in a way, for me, it was a way for me to still celebrate the holiday in a positive manner than sitting alone, and being depressed during the holidays by myself.
That's really sweet.
So it was.
You wanted to give back and be engage with the holiday.
No, not really. It was more selfish because it was about me, because I didn't want to be fucking depressed during the holidays.
Yeah. But
had your dad passed when you were?
Yeah. So it was
okay,
just like,
guys,
oh god,
see what you fucking did.
We're doing this.
Assholes.
We're doing this again.
But
it's like one thing I do want to bring up. It's even though it was such a big part of my life, it's still a good part of my life. I remember I think it was a Hollywood Christmas parade or one of these parades.
Yeah.
And I was one of the people in it, and the Beav from Leave It to Beaver. I remember you brought the dad up recently.
No, Tom did, because he was.
Tom did, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's another episode.
Yeah, this poor guy, man. He's 55, 60 years old, and he still gets called, "Oh, you're the Beav! You're the Beav!"
Yeah.
And you see the look on his face. Yep, I'm the Beav. And I'm going, holy fuck.
That was you?
I never. I saw myself 40 years later.
He shouldn't be in a parade as the beaver if he doesn't want to be recognized as the beaver.
Okay. I think you make a good point, though.
No, but the point I'm trying to make here is like, I never want to be that, because it's look at all the joy we've brought people. Even though not every day was a walk in the park. Look at all the great things that came out because of it.
So you don't want to have a relationship to your fame that you feel is toxic. I get that. You want to have a more accepting, positive, you want to, And then in terms of what you're saying, I think I'm hearing this too, is that if you're going to engage with your fame, do it because you're choosing to do it and take accountability for it, or don't show up at all.
Well, no, I mean, I think, my only comment about this is, that's difficult for a lot of people to get past. It's like being the star football player in high school, and nothing else. Like, that's the highlight of your life, right? Mm-hmm. Like you are the stud. You're the popular person, and then life hits you. Mm-hmm. And life gets real.
Mayor Joe gets pregnant. You have a bunch of kids.
Yeah, it
can't go to college on scholarship.
No one's on the sidelines cheering for you anymore, right?
Tear your ACL.
You kind of peak too early in life, and so the problem is when you're a young person, you have that kind of like career opportunity or those highlights. You kind of live in the shadow of that throughout the rest of your life, unless you choose. Mm-hmm. To kind of like really reframe how you don't have to live in that space your whole life. You don't have to be beans your whole life. Even if the world sees you that way or recognizes you as that, it doesn't matter, man. You have to just get really good at reinventing yourself always. And
well,
I think
that's a new thing every day.
And that's the best thing.
I think him growing his beard is partly of reclaiming that.
Support for Even More Stevens podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming.
They're precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Join over 8 million men worldwide with this exclusive offer, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code EvenStevensPod at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 16 million balls! The Lawnmower 4.0 is the future of men's grooming, and dare I say, the greatest ball shaver ever. Their Crop Reviver Ball Toner and their Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant will change your hygiene routine. Trust me when I say this, fellas, your balls will thank you. Thank you, Beans! You're welcome, guys.
So don't waste time and get 20% off right now, plus free shipping with code EvenStevensPod at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code EvenStevensPod. Unlock your confidence and remember to always use the right tool for the job with Manscaped.
I think waking up in the morning every day, you just you reinvent yourself.
Yeah,
you're like, I'm alive.
I'm still here, man.
I'm choosing life. Oh my God.
I think that's the most powerful thing ever. Is that, and as an actor, you get really good at recreating yourself. That's why,
or putting on a mask. You get really good at that as an actor too.
Sure. I mean, but yeah, absolutely. But I think when you play a role, you put on a mask, but you get to experience a lot of things, right? And that can be really empowering.
Yeah.
And
it's either or, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad we tackled it though, because I know that it was something that I saw, and at the time I felt really numb to it when people were like, "Oh yeah, he's got this regular job," and I was just like, "Oh, man." There's been times in my life when I've debated, stepping away completely from the business, or it was at least like an intrusive thought where I was like, "Oh, is this going to become my reality at some point?" And I've been privileged to eke out time we didn't have investments like you did. We didn't buy anything. So what that looks like is very different. I mean, we could have been child actors that did have investments, and we would have gone down the road of a little bit more financial freedom.
It was a little different for you at the time, obviously, because you were almost too young to make those kind of financial decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
But damn, too bad. I wish I could,
Yeah, I need you to get on. I need you to be the dude that helps the kids like financially invest. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are people that are meant to do that with these kids, but more times than not, I don't know. It just seems like they're either the right person's not listening, or the wrong person's in charge of their money, or whatever.
Or we make the wrong people famous.
I feel like you can't choose who's going to end up becoming famous.
There is no right or wrong.
We don't know what's
as a society, I guess. I could say,
yeah.
How long have we been saying stop making stupid people famous? Well, at least the last 10 years or 20 years now.
We like tragedy, man. Yeah. We like car crashes. So. Yeah. We're more often than not, we're going to choose the ones that are certain to crash and burn, because people like that. Like that's why
that's like a dark fascination.
That's what it is. Like you always stop. It's when you're on the freeway and the traffic's slowing and you realize there's a car crash, and you're like, shut up and just keep driving. Why are you stopping to look? And then you get up close to it, and then you stop and look.
Yeah.
Like it's almost it's almost like an impulse you can't resist.
Who are your
resist
favorite
doing.
Famous people right now? Who are they?
God,
me? Meryl Streep, Dustin Hoffman.
But are they famous anymore? Not really.
Oh, God.
What? How can you even say
they're
that?
famous, but I'm talking about who are your favorite actively, like very hot on, like who are nominated for Golden Globes and Oscars.
I haven't watched that.
So you've fallen out of it.
I don't
you don't even know.
I know. I didn't even care back then.
Yeah.
I didn't even care back then.
I have a theory that, honestly, famous is not what it used to be. That fame is so different now. That award shows, people don't really give a shit about award shows anymore.
It's almost, but it's not almost not fame anymore. It's infamy.
Mm-hmm.
It's all become like this self-promoting. I don't know. It's a very different thing. Like, at least if you were a performer, you had to be able to deliver something that was entertaining in a way that was separate from your life. Now it's just your life.
Yep.
It's just everyone.
Like, look at Brad Pitt. It's like, and look at the Johnny Depp situation. Like, you're taking away from these people who've had legacies and careers, and you're only remembering these relationships that they had or their divorces it is really sad.
It's a completely different world, especially when it comes to what people are known for and what they're famous for.
I do wonder then how, man, this is really hard. Whew. I mean, like, if child actors can't protect their like lives, their personal lives, like no actors really truly can be like, okay, I'm going to put this over here and over there. Like, even
in a way, I feel like those are the best actors, that we have no idea what their personal lives are like. Yeah.
Well, but that goes back to choices. That's just simply a choice. I mean, a choice in good parenting, I guess, but you don't have to be engaged in the media soap opera that's happening all the time. It's just not necessary. There's a lot of actors, like we often talk about the toxic nature of the business or see that what's happening. But there's so many other people that have made healthy choices and have had great careers. And we're not talking about them. There's thousands of them because they just don't feed into it. They're not a part of it. They don't play into this kind of stuff. But the rest of us want to be moths to a flame. And when you do that, you're going to get burnt, and then it's like, oh, the industry is so bad. It's so toxic. I'm like, sure, there's a toxic element to it, but it's not necessarily that it's always toxic.
Well, and also I think you make a good point. Like you're right. Ego for sure. And your relationship too. It's like going back to what we were saying about everyone's relationship to Googling themselves or fame and seeing how they're represented, right? In that way. It's like, you can only, and I've learned this in recovery, essentially, even though I'm not doing a 12-step program. But in my 7 years of recovery, it's like you can only control your reactions to things. You can only control how you're. And
I feel like that's a tightrope with actors because, you do have to have that thick skin. You got to not really care what people think about, right? But on the other hand, we're actors. We literally make our money based on what people think about us.
Mm-hmm. I feel that sometimes with like all the content that I make, and
like if you had a
generally talking about
if you were generally
stuff.
Perceived as this horrible toxic person, obviously you wouldn't have a great online successful career, right?
Yeah.
Or it certainly wouldn't be the one you have now.
Mm-hmm. And so but for me it's different because I think you were talking about reinventing yourself, right? And so for me it's been a very interesting line of living in an environment that requires you to engage with the kind of marketing that is a train wreck. So like some of my titles will be very splashy, headline-y type stuff that gets people to come to the plate, and then sponsorships come from that thing. And so it's like you play that game because that's what a producer does. And you're producing your own content. And then on top of that, you need to deliver upon that content. So then you're saying things that at least you have to strike the balance between it being truly who you are. Because he was shocked that I swear.
Yeah.
Nick was like,
no, I wasn't shocked.
Are you sure?
No, yeah,
you were like, Christy, why are you swearing on the podcast so much?
No. I'm not shocked that you swear, but I was, wondering if it was more calculated and strategic than just you being you and talking, but more of like.
You think I say fuck strategically?
Well, yeah, like yes.
No,
it's a relatable kind of.
No, yeah, exactly. Like,
look at me, guys.
Is this the formula? Oh no, Christy's, she's bad.
I know, right?
She says bad words.
I know,
like,
right?
Is it that or just you being authentically yourself? And honestly, either is fine. But we whenever you're doing this type of thing, whether it be a TV show, a podcast, or whatever, if it's any kind of media entertainment, we're all looking at formulas that work. And what happens often is that people start replicating the formulas that they think work rather than just being authentic and doing their own shit. Right. And usually, in my opinion,
is that what you were asking me then? You were asking me if I'm swearing because it's what works? That's what you were asking me.
I'm asking you, no, what I was asking you is this something that you're doing to kind of like, I'm breaking the mold? But you already answered the question because you said in your own, like, I don't do YouTube, I don't do any of that kind of stuff. But in that content, you're very much this person.
Across the board. Yeah.
So, okay, I get it. So I didn't know if this was like your mom, like, I'm going to break the mold. No more Christy.
Well, I think you've just known
pants.
me. Yeah, you've known me to be the person that chooses not to do that.
No, I cuss all the time.
I don't know though. I'm gonna disagree. I don't think there is this one thing that works. Right? There's not this specific formula.
That's not
right?
what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you're in business, no matter what it is, whether it be, we'll just focus on entertainment. You're looking for the formula that sells. Okay, and people often replicate that. It's the same thing in business. When you're looking at models that work, right? Like, okay, car washes, great cash flow model.
Very great cash flow model.
Yeah, low overhead, upfront costs are high, but once you build that thing, it's just a cash cow, right?
Right.
And so if you're trying to just win the money game, you replicate these models that generate cash flow, okay? Same thing in this. You want to replicate something that gets clicks. How do we get viewers? But then you become just this thing that's just a manufactured idea rather than something that's truly authentic and original that people fall in love with because it is that. I would say, fuck all the other shit. You try to be you do what's real, and you hope that people fall in love with the authenticity rather than you just creating a cookie cut. Shows do this all the time. Why do they take old movies and reproduce the same damn thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a formula that works.
Sorry, Christy, but how many Lifetime movies have we seen with the same formula?
Oh yeah, you don't have to apologize to me.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
that's whatever that point was. That's what the point was.
Yeah, I think it's all true.
Yeah.
It can all be true.
Yeah.
And I think
Disney movies.
and the tendency is to go for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nothing wrong with that.
Mm-mm.
But I think at the same time, allowing yourself the freedom and the space to have real conversation, to have real experiences, and to be authentic, so that at the end of the day, you're doing something that's original and that people fall in love with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's all. I think it all coexists, and doing it digitally and for yourself does make it a little easier for you to go into business for yourself. I will say that much. Like the upfront cost can be whatever you choose it to be. So in terms of this episode,
Well, back to that.
I love it though. I love that we're so off topic because if you were a fan of Even Stevens, you'd be naturally a fan of the tone of this podcast.
It's all over the place.
It's all over the place.
Okay,
all over the place.
And you are grown now, so you can hear me swear.
I'm afraid we're.
You
just
can
gonna,
see his butt.
I'm afraid we're just gonna scar.
Oh yeah.
Not at all. Are you kidding me? If you liked Even Stevens, I kind of wonder what kind of kid you were. You probably were a misfit. You probably, or I know a lot of girls that were like, oh, I had a little brother and he annoyed me so much.
No, I think there was a character for everybody.
Yeah.
There was a character for everybody.
Did you ever meet somebody who was exclusively like, I watched Even Stevens because Donnie was hilarious?
No, I mean, I definitely have had people who are like, "You're my favorite."
Oh my gosh, really?
I'm like, stop lying. but keep saying it.
Well, maybe they just like looking at you and they thought you were kind of fun.
I've actually had a lot.
I can see it.
I've had a lot of people reach out to me online and be like, I didn't know I was gay until I saw you. And I'm like, oh, that's
seriously?
very sweet. Yeah,
I did not know
I've had a lot of that. I haven't got too many DMs from hot chicks I can date, but plenty of DMs from dudes. And it's okay.
Really
I'm happy to be that
gay awakening.
Exactly. The awakening moment for people.
I have been a gay awakening for many a young lady.
That's exactly what it was.
And you? Have you ever been the gay? Was Beans ever a gay awakening for anyone?
Oh God. Yeah.
It's possible. Wait, once? One time? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I got a best friend who's gay. Oh God, yeah. It's
And Beans was his way into that?
God, yeah. Oh God.
Oh wait, no. But this sounds like in life.
This sounds like it was in person.
It is.
All that. Okay, that's slightly.
Yeah, he's became a pretty good friend of mine recently. Yeah.
Oh wait,
that's
what?
Good. At least he's a good friend.
I'm confused.
Then.
Tell us the story.
Oh God, yeah. He met because how did we originally meet? I think he booked a class on me from me once.
Yeah, I did.
He booked a class on you once?
No, from acting. No, I was doing private coachings online.
Yeah, yeah. Are you still doing that, by the way?
Oh God, once in a blue moon. Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
Oh God, no.
He's busy.
Once in a blue
He's
moon.
working.
Once in a blue moon. But yeah, we. Oh God. What am I gonna say here?
I don't know, but you should think this
You had
through.
a friend who fell in love with Beans and booked a class with you, and then you guys became friendly.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. There's something I need to tell you, Nick. No.
Wait, what?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No.
Your hand was just really sweaty.
Yeah, I know, right? God.
Sweaty palms.
God,
Steven, there's
nothing
that you could say on this podcast that we have not already endorsed.
Oh wait.
I mean, there's a few
slow down
things.
here. I'm not going to endorse everything that comes out of this guy's mouth.
I'm not saying that we haven't already done, essentially.
I don't agree with that either. You can throw yourself under the bus.
I'm trying to make it a safe space that he pulls out information from
Let me
it.
steer my own wheel here, man.
Nicholas.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely
What's
having a
your
gay
middle
best.
name?
Yeah.
Fortunato.
That's your middle name?
Yeah, Fortunato.
Fortunato?
Oh,
I never knew that.
I didn't either.
Where did you, who discovered, who came up with that? Trying to change the subject here. Yes, I do.
What's your middle name?
I shit through feathers, yes. Anthony.
Shit through feathers. What?
Who?
Oh,
Yes.
got it.
Oh my God.
Anthony?
Yeah,
Even Anthony Lawrence.
You know something weird?
Whatever, dude.
My whole name
Mine's
was
Michelle.
actually in the series.
No, wait, Christy Carlson. What do you mean, Michelle?
No. Okay, does everyone
Oh,
want
that's
to
right. No,
know?
because your mom is your mom and dad's last name, Carlson Romano. Yeah, it's the
So
hyper.
dumb,
It's the
so
hyper,
dumb.
right? No, it's my sister has that with a couple of her kids.
Yeah, no, I was watching
Does she really?
the whole
Oh.
show,
Yeah,
and
Spawn Lane.
I learned my whole name is actually in the series. Obviously, Stevens. Anthony is Lewis's, and then
Lawrence Junior High.
Junior High, yeah.
Wow, you're everywhere.
It was meant to be.
It was definitely meant to be. Well, okay, so this, I do want to mention something too. Margot Harshman, who we mentioned earlier, who's super talented. I think she really started to they started to really experiment with her hair, and she had these crazy braids, and she just started to become a little bit more goth.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if that was really her. That wasn't really who Margot was, though, right? Was she goth?
No, I mean,
No, she was very light
I don't
and
think so.
breezy and a little girl.
Yeah, I mean, I think that she was in many ways like very much a blank canvas, that she could be whatever they wanted her to be, but she did a great job. She did that great, straight face, always unimpressed.
Yeah.
It was that typecasting, I think. Yeah, light, pale skin, black hair.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, she had
typecast.
darker hair, yeah.
Typecast.
Yeah, she was fun though. But I do like how she evolved as a character much more. In the beginning, it was again a little too much
Wednesday Addams.
Exactly. A little too played up.
She totally did have that Wednesday Addams thing.
But
that's funny.
That's the interesting thing about our show too, is that it was very unpolished. The fact that it ever went anywhere is kind of crazy.
I was thinking, I was like, two things I was asking myself, and then we can start wrapping up. But two things: would this get made now? Would this show be able to get made? No, absolutely.
I don't think so.
No.
Why?
It's not. Okay. From what I can tell about Disney and Netflix and all the streaming people for children's programming, which I am forced to watch a lot, everything needs to have a world. It's a world that they are sort of a part of. In fact, I know from keeping ties with Disney executives over the years that they were like, look, if there's going to be a movie, we need to know what the toy's going to look like.
Like the world of Wizardly Place. It became, everything became very mystical.
Yeah, world.
And,
she's a pop star in this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's like a world.
Yeah.
But you know who we'd
rich.
ask? Would any of the Stevens fans watch this show again or something like this? Do they think that this show would have legs today? And I actually think that it's like anything else. There's always these ebbs and flows. That you're right. Disney went that direction. And most people that were fans of our show would say Disney's not what it used to be. I guess
you're right.
And I think that people would want to see
more grounded comedy,
relationship, relationship based, character based,
not sitcom,
family, not sitcom,
No.
very kind of. I mean, I would be into that. I don't watch television, but and if you think about even shows that these are nothing. It's not even close to the same genre, but
Modern Family was really great.
Modern Family was awesome.
Yeah.
What's the one on Netflix that with the drug dealer?
Narcos?
No, I love Narcos though, but no, the one that freaking heck was a while ago. It was
was it a kids show? Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Oh my god, best show ever made.
Oh, yeah.
Best
Breaking
show ever
Bad was about everyday people dealing with the stresses of life and trying to find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
And that was a fucking amazing show. Now, again, we're not that, but I think that there's a place for that, and it may not be on Disney Channel, but platforms like this and streaming content have made. It's like when I started and I finally started working as an actor, the opportunities were there because cable was just becoming a thing.
That's right.
And now streaming is a huge thing. How much content is being produced all the time. It's crazy.
All the time.
The one thing I do love about Even Stevens that I think we did in just about every episode is each of our episodes had a moral to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like for this one was not about a vet. It was about the talent show, playing to your strengths. Or
this one was Lewis in the Middle. And it's like I think the moral of the story was, what was it exactly? Don't worry about what other people think about you, really.
Correct, or something like that. But
no, it was that. God damn it! It's what I said.
Just about all the shows nowadays really have some type of moral to them.
Yes,
so I feel
like it's not all about Yvette. Let's put it that way.
It was Lewis in the Middle. This was the episode we were.
Lewis in the Middle,
guys.
One after.
Yeah, I feel you though. I feel like 20.
Oh, that's right.
Minutes.
It's not.
No. Guys,
22 minutes and 25 years later, we'll get it eventually.
Oh my God.
Thank you guys so much for watching Even More Stevens podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Come back soon.
Catch us for another episode we won't remember.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of the Even More Stevens podcast. For clips from our pod, go ahead and check out the Podco YouTube channel. And for exclusive weekly bonus content, join our Patreon. Links in the description.